What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the channel today. I am on the Chief Bobber today. I tried out the Chief Sport last year, fantastic bike. Really excited to see what this bike has to offer. Right off the bat, I am digging this bike. This bike has like this metallic finish. I don't know if it's coming through in the camera, but it's really nice. Got some deep flakes with it. Looks really premium. And overall, I just really like the styling of this motorcycle. I like the laced wheels with the thick, chunky tires. Low seat height, you got this mid-rise bars. It just looks like a really cool bike. It's got a nice little bobber look to it, looks mean and aggressive, and I would say the ergonomics is actually really good. I can't remember exactly what the seat height comes in, but it's pretty low. I would say probably maybe 26.5 or so. But I can definitely flat foot this bike, coming in at 5'8", very easy to flat foot. Comes with 4 controls, and like I mentioned, you have this like mini apes. Because of how like low to the ground this bike is, it actually feels pretty good. Like my arms are at a really nice perpendicular angle against my body, so my arms are nice and straight. It feels really good. I feel like I have total command of this bike, and coming in at somebody who is 5'8", you know, a little bit shorter, this bike, I feel like this bike fits me perfectly. Nothing feels overly extended. I don't feel too hunched over, although I would say if I wanted to tweak it a little bit, I might bring the bars back a little bit towards me. But other than that, the ergos on this feels pretty good. The seat, it's got a nice shape to it, very cushiony. Can't complain. Even though it's like a solo seat, can't complain about the seat. It actually feels really good. This Chief Bobber comes with the Thunderstroke 111, so roughly puts out about 108 foot-pounds of torque. I'm gonna guess about 90 to 100 horsepower or so. Doesn't really say, but definitely plenty enough to get this 670-pound bike moving. It's got a nice exhaust note. Really like that. So overall, my first impressions, really like it. To me, this bike feels just a tad bit more comfortable than the Chief Sport. But this, I feel relaxed. My hands are nice and wide. Feels actually really, really good. So like I mentioned, comes with the Thunderstroke 111. Still pretty torquey. It's not as torquey as the 116, obviously, but you, on a day-to-day basis, I don't think you'll be really able to tell. All right, so one concern that I had about the Chief Bobber is how does this do on the twists and turns, on the bends, because of these chunkier, fat tires. So far, not so bad. I'm coming in from the Lowrider S and the Scout Bobber 20, so I'm kind of used to the chunky tire feel, and it's not too bad. You know, it takes a little bit more negotiating on the curves, but you know, once you get used to it, I think you'll be okay. Oh yeah, those curves feel really good. This bike feels really nice and planted. Nice and planted to the road. It doesn't feel sketchy at all. I feel like I'm firmly planted on the ground. Good amount of traction, and then when you're pulling out of the twists or the curves, you have this nice power from the Thunderstroke. Nice power delivery. The throttle control or the power delivery on the Indians, it takes some getting used to. Like I said, I'm coming in from the Scout Bobber 20, and that also has like a very, kind of like almost like a sluggish throttle feel. And so coming from that, the throttle feels just a tad bit lazy. It's not as bad as some of the other Indians that I've tried. Like the Chief Limited, the throttle feel was just so weird. It just felt really odd to me, but this one isn't too bad. Yeah, as I'm riding this bike a little bit more, there's a lot of it that reminds me of my Scout Bobber 20. The upright seating position for sure, with the little mini 8 bars, 4 controls, the laced wheels and the chunkier tires. It doesn't quite feel as sporty as my Scout Bobber, but it does have a really nice planted feel to it because of the additional weight. So like on these curves, the bike almost leans itself. Nice power delivery when you get up to the higher RPM ranges, so that's really nice. Single disc brakes on the Chief Bobber. It does a job. It doesn't, it's nothing to write home about. The brakes, there's not a whole lot of sensitivity. It kind of has like a blocky feel to it, but it stops the bike. What I really have come to enjoy about the Indian motorcycles is, the buttons and the levers and, the gearbox. It all feels really nice and like precise. There's no mushiness. You get nice positive feedback from everything. So yeah, I really do like that. Whereas my Harley, a lot of the, the turn signals feels like mush, and the buttons feel a little bit mushy, but these all have a really nice tactile feel to it. The suspension on the bike actually feels really good. I'm going over some of these bumps, and you can hardly notice them. And maybe it's due to the fact that this does have that chunkier tire. It's maybe soaking up some of the bumps on the road. But overall, this is a really, really nice ride. Overall, the bike just feels really responsive. Nothing feels lazy. It's very responsive to my sudden movements. So that's pretty good. And man, that exhaust note actually doesn't sound too bad. Ooh, yeah, the exhaust note actually sounds pretty good on this bike. I gotta say, the Thunderstrokes does a really good job. Sounds great. Has a really nice visceral feel to it. When you let go of the throttle, the bike just has like the exhaust has a nice flutter to it. That sounds beautiful. This bike just wants to lean right when I let go of the handlebars. I'm also getting used to this clutch. It has a very long clutch. Almost towards the end is kind of when it catches. The only thing that I wish that this bike had is a bigger tank, because I can see myself riding this bike for a long time. Would love to see them come with the 5-gallon tank, but I don't know if that'll change the shape and size and look of this bike, but a guy can wish. But overall, I think for 16 and some change, this is actually a really nice bike. Would I prefer this or a Street Bob? I actually think this feels nicer to me. All right, let's pull. Yeah, so this bike may not feel as sporty as some of the other Indians in the lineup. To me, it feels really in line with like a cruiser instead of like a performance cruiser. But I still am enjoying this ride. One thing that I'm noticing is what the heck is going on with the tank. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the tank is wobbling. That can't be good. The other thing that I've noticed with this bike is that, there is a little bit of vibration, but I kind of like that. I like that feel of the motor. I like that feedback. There's a little bit of vibration in the bars. I just thought I'd note that in case, some people may not want that. Some people may want like a really smooth, quiet machine. This is not that. This Chief Bobber I don't know, I feel cool riding this thing. Like, I feel really comfortable on this bike because it doesn't feel too overly heavy. It's got a decent low center of gravity. I can flat foot the bike. It doesn't feel too wide. It feels very, very stable. It's got a good amount of power. Like, it's kind of checking off a lot of these boxes for me. And I'm just trying to think, like, is there anything that I would change outside of maybe the larger fuel tank? Yeah, it'd be nice to have the ride command, things like that. But I kind of like just this simplicity of this bike. Something just feels off. Like, the handlebar feels a little bit crooked. The tank is wobbling. I don't think that's a judgment on the Chief Bobber, but I think maybe it's just this bike has been beaten on kind of during the demos. I guess I'll round out by saying the fit and finish of this Chief Bobber I'm actually really digging. Nothing feels cheap about this bike. Everything is like nicely laid out. The lines are all hidden. It's really nicely streamlined. Yeah, everything for the most part feels like a premium brand. It's like a premium motorcycle. So for $16,000, I really think you're getting a good value for your money. And the overall ride quality is solid. I've really enjoyed this demo of the Chief Bobber. I would say this is one of the few Indian motorcycles that really, I feel like, fit me, right? You know, when you sit on a bike, you know, nothing feels awkward. Like, it really does suit me quite a bit. All right, guys, I'm about to bounce out of here. Thanks for tuning into the video. Overall, I'm really impressed by the Chief Bobber. I didn't think that I would like it as much as the Chief Sport, but I actually think that the Chief Bobber might be just a tad bit more up my alley. I don't know exactly why, but there's something about this bike that I'm really liking. But that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace.